Hey, good morning, everybody. Leonard is having some issues with his computer, so I'm out here being solo. Can y'all? I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure if anyone can hear me yet. I'm not even sure if I can hear myself. Let me see if I'm live. It's not saying I'm live yet. Why am I live? Don't tell me. Testing one, two, three. Okay, I can hear myself. Looks like I'm the only one on here though. I really can't hear anything. I don't know if I don't know if I'm saying, well, I am live. Yeah, I am live. But good morning. Leonard's had some computer issues and all of that. So I am going on here by myself to, yeah, there we go. I see myself. So I'm going to start off things till he's available. And I apologize for being late. As I said, um, I was waiting on him to get on, but he's having some computer issues or something to that effect. So I just wanted to go ahead and get started because we're already 10 minutes behind or something like that. Uh, but good Saturday morning, y'all. I'm broadcasting from the city of, as they say, brotherly love, Philadelphia, here for the 98th convention of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So I'm gonna be chilling, and I'm still as I've been telling everybody, I'm on my East Coast tour. This is the last leg of my East Coast tour, but I'm really enjoying myself. If anybody ever enjoyed their vacation, a domestic vacation, it's been me. I've enjoyed myself. As I've told people recently, I have. Um, at first, I was last weekend. I was in Atlantic City, went to New York City on Sunday, and I'm in Philly, and I have in the 8 days, 9 days, 9 days so far that I've been on this tour as I go on my East Coast tour. I have eaten at a different restaurant for every meal that I've had, and majority of them, uh, um, I've enjoyed the majority of the food that I've had, but I definitely enjoy the uh, the places I've been, the people I've seen. I've hung out with relatives, former coworkers. Now I'm hanging out with frat brothers, especially ones from Tuskegee. Shout out to Gamma Phi, brothers at Gamma Phi from Tuskegee, hanging out with them. Been hanging with them for the last couple of days, and just just reminiscing about, as we say in Alpha, college days swiftly pass, and just having fun talking about the crazy stuff we did when we were young, and even things when I wasn't there, things that they did. They're telling me stories about, and I'm just laughing. I'm really enjoying myself. So, and this morning actually got to meet, well, not meet because I've known him for 41 years. Uh, had to we had a meeting with the president of Tuskegee University, brother. And I'm going to say it's funny because his name, his brother Brown, and his first name is escaping me because I'm thinking of somebody else in the chapter that's last name is Brown. Um, but had a meeting with him this morning, brother Brown, and very good meeting just to sit and talk to their brother. And for those who don't know, the remix is at Tuskegee. I talk about him being there all the time. When he saw me, he mentioned my son. Now, as a parent, when the president of a university mentions your child and has glowing remarks about your child, talking about how he sees him all the time, all the things he's doing on campus, even talking about the fact, yeah, he's a good DJ and all that. Man, you should have seen the smile that came on my face when I was thinking about it. And, Kenny met him his freshman year. Kenny said, I was sitting in the cafeteria, just eating lunch, just sitting by myself. And he said, he just came and sat down next to me and started talking to me. He said, we had a nice conversation. And from that point on, he makes a point when he sees my son to go up and speak to him, have a conversation. Kenny told him, he said, my dad knows you. And he said, well, who's your dad? He said my name. He didn't recognize my name. But when he showed him a picture, it's like, oh yeah, I know your dad. He was here when I was here. So every time I see the president, he's always saying good things about my son. And that, like I said, as a parent, as a father, that is something special. It's really special. So shout out to Brother Brown. Seeing him this morning, just having a brief conversation with him and all that, and then having a brief conversation with him and all that with some of the brothers from Gamma Phi. It was a very special moment. So as you know, and I don't know when Leonard is coming on. Hopefully it'll be on soon. But if it's not, if it takes him a minute, I'll hold things down. I can do things by myself. I'm a grown man. I can do this. For those of you who haven't been paying attention to the news, and even though I'm on vacation, I haven't really looked at the news a lot, but I have caught enough of it to know what's going on in terms of the Trump administration and this craziness that's going on with the Epstein files. Now, for those of you who don't remember, when Trump first ran in 2015, 2016, before he became elected president, he said, I have my supporters. I could be on, I think he said Fifth Avenue or whatever, somewhere in New York, and I could shoot somebody in the face and I would get away with it. And for the most part, that's true. He would still have his supporters. For the most part, that is true. But there's one thing that he's losing support of his people for, which is kind of crazy. Something is over a case that's been closed for a while. And in case you didn't know, that was the thing dealing with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, Jeffrey Epstein was I guess he was a billionaire, at least multi-millionaire, billionaire, something like that. Sex trafficker. He sex trafficked in underage girls. Now, over the years, Trump had, before he became president, the first time, he always spoke glowingly of Jeffrey Epstein. We're good friends. We hang out all the time, blah, 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 and all this. He's a good guy, all this stuff. There's pictures of the two of them together. There have been reports that they had been on, Epstein had a private plane. They were on Epstein's private plane going wherever they were going. There's pictures now in the era of, there's pictures been around long before AI of him and Epstein together. Recently, this week, I saw a picture of him with with Trump, Epstein, and some young girls. Whether or not that's AI or not, I don't know. Really don't care. Really don't care about the pictures because we know they hung out together. And if you ever paid attention to anything that Darren, I'm sorry, I'm saying Darren. So a text message just popped up from one of my frat brothers from Tuskegee. His name is Darren Mosley, and it's just popped up, and that caught my attention. So I apologize. But if you ever paid attention to anything, he paid attention to Trump over the years. One thing he has always talked about is young girls. He has this thing for young ladies. He's even been to the point of talking about his own daughter, stating that if she were not his daughter, he would date her. And this is Ivanka. Yeah, Ivanka. He would date her if she were not his daughter. Now, as a father of a young lady, a grown woman, it would never, ever cross my mind to say something like that about my daughter. Now, my daughter, in my eyes, is one of the most beautiful women in the world, in my eyes, because that's my daughter. But I would never, ever say if she wasn't my daughter, I'd date her. That would never say anything like that. But he has said that. There's actual footage of him saying that. To me, when I heard that, I was like, this dude is sick. He has a problem for real, a serious problem. So he has, he loves that. That's his thing. He loves young girls. And there's no doubt in my mind that he has participated in illegal acts with these young girls. There have been, I read something about young girls who've accused him of being in sessions with, being sexually assaulted by him and Jeffrey Epstein. So the fact that now all of a sudden there's this backlash because about 2 weeks ago, the Justice Department, well, let's go back even further. A couple of months ago, Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General, said, hey, the Epstein files are on my desk right now. I'm reviewing them right now, and we're going to release the contents of the file. All right. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but that's what she said. And for years, they've been, his supporters, especially the ones that's in the media, have been saying, hey, these Epstein files are going to implicate a lot of people. And they were really talking about people who, Democrats, basically. They wanted the files to be released because it'd be some damning evidence against people who are, Democrats, people on the left, as they say. So all of a sudden, when the Pam Bondi becomes Attorney General, she's stating, hey, we're going to release these files. I'm reviewing them out. We're going to release all of this stuff. Then, like a couple of weeks ago, she said, oh, no, we're not going to do it. The Epstein files are closed. Oh, and one more thing about Epstein himself. He was being held. He never went to, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he went to trial. And if somebody, on here is, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I know he was held at a federal facility in either Manhattan or Brooklyn. The federal holding facility is either Manhattan or Brooklyn, one of the two. He was being held there, and he committed suicide. Now, there have been speculation that over the years, speculation stating that he didn't actually commit suicide, that he was killed. This is during Trump's first term as president, that he was actually killed. That somebody in the Trump administration or somebody on that actually had him killed. But the official word is he committed suicide. So he committed suicide. His assistant / girlfriend, she's in custody. She's been, I think she's been found guilty of aiding him in his exploits, helping him recruit these young girls and for whatever they were doing with them. She was convicted of that. So Epstein himself committed suicide, and she's in prison. And everybody assumed the case was over. When Pam Bondi stated a couple of weeks ago, they're not going to, and everybody all along, when Trump was running for president again, he and his supporters in the media said, hey, we're going to release the Epstein files. The Epstein files need to be released. Everything's going to be released. It's all good. We got it. It's going to be released. So they kept claiming that. Now, all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, she comes up. Linda's sending me a text message. 2 weeks ago, she's like, oh, there's nothing to see there. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to release the files. We're not going to release the files because there's nothing else to see. So that didn't, when she did that, came out with that, there was a firestorm, a backlash. Their supporters, Trump supporters, like, hold up, why are you not releasing the files? We want to know who's in there. Because if somebody's in there, we know there's some Democrats in there, they need to be prosecuted. Now, Trump was like, "Oh no, we don't need to release. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's nothing to there's nothing to uh, hold on one second, y'all. I need to send Leonard an email, an invite. There's nothing there. There's nothing for us to investigate anymore. No more people to everything. The case is closed. He's dead. The case is closed, and we there's nothing else we need to do. And oh shoot, what is this? Oh, I apologize, y'all. I'm trying to do two things at one time. Okay, there it is. It's gone. I had to send him an invite for some reason he can't get on. Um, so now all of a sudden he doesn't want to release the files, and he got a huge backlash from it from his supporters. Now, of course, people on the other side of the political spectrum, of course, they want to release because they know he's in there. He doesn't want to release because he knows it's in there. He knows his name is all throughout because it was supposed to be Epstein supposedly kept a file including videos of every encounter he had, every client he had, which Trump was considered a client, every session they had, his clients had with these young girls. He kept a list of people who were clients and all this. Suppose this is all in, as they call it, the Epstein files, and those things. That's the reason why he's receiving the backlash. So that's the background of all of this stuff, and the fact that he's not, he can't even. He's thinking that, okay, I'm gonna tell my supporters to let it go, and they're going to let it go, and they're not letting it go. Even some of his most biggest supporters in the media, they're stating that he needs to release. They need to release the files. So a couple of days ago, he said, "Okay, we're going to release the grand jury files. The grand jury reports, which is not the files. Grand jury testimony. That's not the files. That's just testimony with Epstein, and I think the lady's name is Giselle Maxwell. So he's saying we're going to release that." And of course, his supporters, no, that's not enough. You have to actually, we want to see everything because we want to name names. We want people prosecuted. Now he is painting himself into a corner because if he does not do that, and this is the political fallout from all of this stuff, not just for him, because of course nobody's going to impeach him, but the Republicans that support him and that are saying, no, don't release the file, blah, 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 it's going to come back to haunt him, like all the other stupid shit that they've been doing for the last 6 months or 7 months. Everything they've been doing is going to come back to haunt them at some point. But they're seeing an immediate reaction to this because according to all these polls out there, 80% of the people polled say, we want to see what's in the files. And this is the stuff that happens when you start creating a frenzy about something, and then you backtrack on it and say, hey, this is not, we're not going to do it. But you created this frenzy. The only people talking about this, the Epstein files, were people who were his supporters. They were the only ones talking about it. Nobody else was talking about this stuff. But of course, that's what he wanted. He wanted his supporters to come out because for some unknown reason, he thought that, and probably rightfully so, that it would never see the light of day. The files would never see the light of day, and nobody would ever ask for them. Well, when she came out and said, we're not going to release the files, that just created this huge backlash. So here we are. This is where we are in this. And it's a problem that they created for themselves. They did this. Because I don't remember any Democrat, I don't remember Kamala Harris ever mentioning the Epstein files when she was on the campaign trail. Never said a word about it. He was more focused on the issues. But I don't ever remember her mentioning the Epstein files. The only person that kept mentioning the Epstein files was Trump. Now he's dealing with a problem of his own, and it's funny to sit back and see them try to do a matrix to get rid of all of these bullets that they fired that's coming back at them. It's so funny to see this. They're sitting back, trying to do what was Neo from the Matrix, going back doing all this, trying to avoid all these bullets. You're the one that shot the bullets. You the one that fired the shots. Leonard, welcome. Good to see you, brother. Can you hear me?
What's up, Kenneth?
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure you hear me. Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Yeah, I can hear you. You good?
The platform itself has happened connected. It's not us.
Okay.
The whole platform is having connection issues. So they're sending out text or information as we speak that they're having connection issues for some reason. Go ahead.
Okay. But I was talking about the Epstein issue with Trump that Trump has, and how it's a problem of his own making, like all of his problems. They're of his own making. Nobody did anything to him. He did this to himself. And now he wants to they even throwing Obama in there. Now, what Obama has to do with any of this, I do not know. But he even threw Obama's name out there. Because if I'm not mistaken, Epstein was arrested. Well, then again, Epstein may have been arrested before Obama left office. But he wants to blame all of this, the problems he's having, on Obama. Obama's been out of office, for 9 years? The whole thing is quite funny to see all of this stuff. Extremely funny to see all of this stuff. But give me your take on it, bro.
Well, first I want to say Epstein was arrested and allegedly committed suicide in 2019. That was under Trump's DOJ. So Epstein, if you're talking about the deal that he got arrested in Miami, and the guy ended up becoming Trump's labor secretary, gave him the sweetheart deal, that might have been right in the Obama era when he got that sweetheart deal. And then that guy, Acosta, I think his name is Acosta, became the labor secretary. My take on it is, I have a different take on it. My take on it is that Ed Martin, the new DNC chair, has made a decision that he's not going to be Jamie Harrison, and whatever way he can win, he's going to win. So now he has the Democrats he seems to have them on the same page, where they're going to exploit this. They're going to do whatever they got to do to damage him. I think that my question is, what is Rupert Murdoch coming to this? And have people, the powers that be, when I say the powers that be, billionaires, some billionaires have now decided that he's become too unhinged and they got to chop him down a bit. And they're going to do everything in their power to amplify chopping him down. And also, it seems to me that he's on some type of cognitive decline. And so Ed Martin's going to exploit that and keep the Democrats on the same page as much as he can with the Epstein files. Let's be frank, nobody really gave a damn about little girls being molested or raped by an older man for hundreds of years. It's just a political football. And I can see where Ed Martin's coming from. Whatever way I got to damage him, because nothing else has worked up to this point. When they go low, we gonna go low. It's what people wanted. So Ed Martin has made the decision this way he's gonna do it. Ed Martin has shown himself to be efficiently ruthless, which is probably what we need, unfortunately. Because then you can have to, at some point, wonder if Ed Martin's gonna think he's the most powerful person on the planet. You can see that by how he has responded to David Hogg, who, the 25-year out of Florida, who thought he was going to come in and be one of the 11 deputy DNC chairman, was trying to cut his head off too. He don't want him to have any influence. Like, hey, if you aren't gonna follow this lead, I'm gonna cut your knees off. So whether this sticks, let's be, to me, you're seeing a lot of people on their side seeing this as an opening. Massey from Kentucky has called for the release of the file. I don't think any of us are naive enough to think. Excuse me. I don't think any of us are naive enough to think that Jeffrey Epstein had that type of influence without having something on some of these people.
On some people, right, to avoid prosecution for so many years.
Yeah, but here's the thing: he was a teacher at a elite all boys school in New York before he became a financier. Yeah, there's a great article in Rolling Stone about Jeffrey Epstein, and this guy a year or two ago, before Joe Biden lost, did a thread talking about how all the stockbrokers say, I don't know any financing deals that Jeffrey Epstein has ever done. They don't know him on the trading floors. They don't know anything. So how does he make his money? Well, his first money came from this billionaire out of Ohio. And you just wonder, why would you give him this type of money? And he's a very prominent billionaire financier. So I don't think any of us are stupid enough to think, but there's a lot of people. Bill Clinton's been on that plane. Donald Trump's been on that plane. Yeah, that was
reported years ago.
Yeah. Alan Dershowitz has been on that plane. Bill Gates has been on that plane, which is one of the reasons why Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates, because she felt he had too much dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. But I'm having a hard time. It's having a hard time getting on the side of any of those supporters of the president who are now demanding that you see the list. That's what it took to break the fever. I have no faith in those people. So that's all I got to say on that. I don't have any faith. Whatever we got to do to bring him down and to have some sense of normalcy with all the lives he's damaged over the last 6 months, he's damaged them. But all the people calling for it, Elon Musk, they have no credibility to me. Peter Thiel, they have no credibility to me. Nothing else make me believe anything they say. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The messenger is flawed. Whether we're going to throw the messenger out because of the information, that remains to be seen. But all the messengers are extremely flawed, because this has never been about politics. This has been about vengeance and cruelty from day one. And now their biggest thing, which I'm amazed that more of us aren't talking about this. They gave $45 billion to ICE. They've created the largest military, non-military, whatever word you want to use, that can operate inside the United States in history. They are now offering $100,000 bonuses to people that are signed up for ICE. Who do you think they're trying to attract? They're trying to attract police officers. They're trying to get police officers to leave their local police force.
White police officers.
It's been a lot of black officers in ICE doing some of these roundups. More than I'm comfortable with. It's been a lot of black officers who've been in ICE who just chasing the money. They're like, hey, they're going to take the money. Why not? But they are now allowed to operate where the military can't operate on U.S. soil. ICE can. And they're just a military force that's not called the military, operating within the United States, and they have the right to do so. So that's why a lot of them are masked. There's a thread out right now with ICE agents talking about how stressful it is, but they chased the money, and now they got the money, and now they got Ron Crunch.
I'll say this: speaking about some ICE agents, because I know someone personally that's an ICE agent. Known him for years, a friend of mine. Actually, two people who are, one went to Border Patrol, but the other worked for Homeland. Now he's underneath the influence of all of this stuff. Um, and I know, knowing him personally, I know it's killing him to do this. And the reason why I know it's killing him because of his background, uh, uh, his family background. So I know, and I know he's stressed because I haven't talked to him about it per se, but some of the, we've communicated some of the things that he's indicated, sort of roundabout saying it's messing with him big time. And it wasn't because of the money, it's because he's been with them for a long time, since the inception of Homeland. Been with Homeland for a long time, and now he's caught up in it, and I'm pretty sure he's having to make a decision about, do I want to keep doing this bullshit, because I know it's bullshit. Um, I don't want to end my career prematurely, but I may have to, because this bullshit is fucking with me mentally. And I know, knowing him, when I say this, I know this dude very well. That's my boy, and I know his personality. I know, like I said, we went through some shit together when I was a cop back in the day. So I know him. I know how he thinks. This is messing with him, and he hasn't said it, at least not directly, but indirectly in communications. And we haven't talked. This is just text messages I get from him. It's messing with it. So some of those officers, some of the ICE officers, they're just caught up, and it's just bothering them. I know it is. It has to. It has to, because that's not what they were here for. Matter of fact, some of them, they're not even, if you work for Homeland, you wouldn't have been out there chasing people at the border or doing anything like that, looking for undocumented people. That wasn't your job. That wasn't his job at all. Not even close to that. He wasn't doing anything like that. He got thrown in the mix with this. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them got thrown into the mix with this, simply because, they're trying to further their agenda. And it's a shame, because you're messing with people's, not only the undocumented people, even U.S. citizens. They're just messing with people mentally. And there's going to be a lot of, let's say this, there's going to be a lot more people who are going to need serious therapy once this fool leaves. Because his thing, a perfectly good example. I'm at a hotel, one of the host hotels here at our convention, and I'm sitting in the bar getting, just paying my bar tab, just had a meal and a drink and all that, and speak to these two brothers sitting at the bar. Turns out they work for the Department of Defense, and we're having a conversation of how one brother said, we have to get rid of 1,000 people from the facility he works at for the Department of Defense. 1,000 people. And he said, I'm having to pick people to let go. These are people I work with for years, people I know. I'm having to pick them because I have to have all these people gone by the end of December. I have to select somebody to do this. And he's like, man, he said, everybody's walking on edge. He says, I'm walking on edge because this is bothering me. These are people. This is actual. He said, these are actual people that I know. I worked with for years. And I have to fire them because of this fool. And I'm saying, damn, that's a heavy burden for somebody to have. A heavy burden that you're actually have to fire people that you know when they've done nothing wrong. It's easy to fire somebody when they do something wrong. It's very hard to fire somebody and they've been doing their job all along. And he said the expertise that they're having, that they were losing. And then on top of all that, because they have a hiring freeze, they can't even bring anybody new to train to get trained to do the jobs. So we're still behind. He said it's gonna take at least 2 administrations to get this stuff straight, get back to where we were before. So there's going to be a lot of people in this country in need of therapy and all of that by the time this fool leaves us. Yeah, and Harry, it is like Gestapo in America. It is like that. That's what that's what they're behaving like. When the Gestapo, the Nazis, actually went from door to door rounding up Jews. I saw this morning that they were doing that the Health and Human Services gave ICE access to the Medicaid list for man. Stop all that yawning, bruh. Stop all Anyway, they gave ICE access to Medicaid list. And one would think, okay, why would ICE need access to the Medicaid list? Well, what they're looking for are the children of undocumented people. Because if you're undocumented, you cannot get on Medicare. That's the law. Law says you cannot get on Medicare. Matter of fact, you can't get Social Security benefits, you can't get any benefits like that if you are undocumented. So if you want to get access to find out who the undocumented people are, one way of doing it is look at their children. If their child is disabled and getting Medicaid, guess what? You can go through the list, see who the parents are, and you can get to the parents through that. And then, of course, the other part of it is we want these children to lose their birthright citizenship. So we'll go ahead and have them lose their citizenship so we can get the whole family out together. Because you can't technically, technically you can't separate an American citizen as the child from their parent. The child has the right to be here. The parent is the one that's undocumented. Um, so you can't deport them if they have a child here that lives here. They call that anchor babies. That's the term that they use. So you can't deport the family if the underage children are American citizens. So that's what they're trying. That's why they're going after the birthright citizenship thing and the naturalized citizen thing. That's what they're going after. But Mr. Yon Master, go ahead. Let's hear your phrase. Let's see your talking on this.
Aaron asked the question, what would you do if you had to fire 1,000 people from the job? Resign. The Gestapo had willing. The Gestapo. That you asked me what you want me to hear. The Gestapo had willing partners that was willing to say, my family is more important than your family. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, when you have to take a principled stand, it's not easy to take a principled stand. But principled stands have to be made. When you start having 10 attorneys walk off from the Department of Justice because of what Pam Biondi is doing, they made a principled stand. They resigned because they said this wasn't right. I won't be a part of something that's not right. And some people just aren't built like that. And I don't necessarily know if those people should be in charge. I don't have no sympathy for those people. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're saying. You're saying my family is more important than their family, knowing that what's happening is wrong. It's flat out wrong. And it's why unions can be so effective, because unions move as a group. And when one union member
they try to get rid of, that's one of the reasons why he wanted to bust up unions during his first
term. So people to tell me that. So people I hear what you're saying, but shit, everybody has to put some skin in the game. And when you don't put skin in the game, what they do is they take that as complicity and permission to keep going. That's just how it's always been throughout history. People were hiding Jews during the Holocaust because they knew it was the right thing to do, even though their lives were in danger. And some people got killed for that. And some people didn't. And some people wouldn't do it because they didn't want to get killed, because the Jews' lives weren't worth their lives. Their lives was worth more. Sometimes the will to live is stronger than your morals. The will to eat is stronger than your morals. So if you're a supervisor and somebody comes in and says, I need you to get rid of 1,000 people that's doing their job, you know, that institutional knowledge at some point is going to catch up with them. It's catching up with them right now.
Of course it is.
The question is, do you have the right messenger to get the message out? You know, let's be clear. I have no doubt in my mind that there is a list of Jeffrey Epstein's people. No one is protected that well unless you have something over people. Just not. There are some people who are affiliated with the Democratic Party. Yeah, I will use my contacts to help other people try to get in that job. Now, whether that's my responsibility or not, that's another thing. Is if all of y'all resign en masse, that department's not running. Now, if you say, well, if that department, I can understand if you had a Social Security office and you got a whole bunch of elderly people that depend on you to get them through the system. That's a moral stance too. Because what you're saying then is that those people are more important than what we're talking about doing. Those people still have to move forward. But everybody has to have some skin in the game. And I just don't have sympathy for people who don't have skin in the game. You talk a good game. I see people talk shit all the time. I don't have patience for it. I don't have patience for it. I don't give people a pass for it. I don't care who you are. I don't care how mad you get. I don't care if you want to fight. We're at an existential threat, so I could care fucking less at how much it's going to hurt you if it's going to hurt other people. You know, we hear this. We hear philosophers' words all the time. When they came for the Jews, when they came for so-and-so, I didn't speak out. When they came for so-and-so, I didn't speak out. Then they came for me. Wasn't nobody to speak up for me. Well, shit, is that just words or is actions? It's not easy. It's not.
Well, I mean, you got to think about some of this though. If you're in a job that you've been working for years, a very specialized field, and the government is the only one that does that job, what are you supposed to do? Because you still have to feed your family. You still have to eat.
You just asked me. I don't. What else you want me to say, bro? You're gonna have to make a principle.
No, I'm saying
it's.
But you hold on.
It's either
see,
I got a family to feed.
If you right, you have a family to feed, and they're telling you you're a supervisor and you have to do blah 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 blah. You make a principle stand. Now you're in a specialized field that you've been working in for years, and the government's the only one that has this job, this type of field. They're the only ones that do this. What are you to do? Now, one thing, you know, I'll say this, and I told the brother, I said, you know, they always need teachers, but not everybody's built to be a teacher. And even that process can be, at some point, if all of these thousands of people lose their jobs, they're not even being any teacher jobs left. So what do you do? This is not a hypothetical question. This is a real question that we need, that people have real question, real issues that people have to deal with on a regular, people are dealing with on a daily basis. What do I do? I have done this. I've done my job well. You know, I performed well in my job, but my job, the job that I do only, you know, is very limited where I can go. What do I do? And I still have to feed my family. I still have a mortgage. I still have a car note. I still have bills to pay, because just because I quit my job don't mean my bills gonna stop. I've been unemployed before. I've lost jobs, and hell, I lost a job and I was the only one. I had a family and I was the only one working in the damn house. And I never really told people. I worked after I moved to Atlanta, lost a job with the DeKalb County Police over some bullshit because somebody didn't like me. I had a wife, a daughter, and that was before my son was born. And I'm like, damn, I'm unemployed and I was the only one working. How the hell am I going to survive? And like I said, it was all because somebody didn't like me. I didn't do anything wrong. Because one person didn't like me and they messed me over. So I had to go out and I worked a temp job making $9 an hour. A brother, not only with a bachelor's degree, but a master's degree, working $9 an hour because I had to feed my family. Bruh, you know how demoralizing that was? So to you, it may be a simple question, a simple thing. People who are caught up in that,
I didn't say
and
it.
they
No,
have,
that's not what I said. Didn't I say that? I didn't say it was simple.
well, you say, I mean, you said, hey, I would resign. Resign to do what? You got it's not something. If you have, let's say you're more like
I didn't say it
gorgeous
was.
now. Okay. I'm just saying, I mean, the whole resigning thing, that would have to be something. I would have to have something in place before I resign. I really would. Because even if you resign, it's still 999 people that need to go. You may have saved one person's job, but there's 999 people that still need to be, that they're still going to fire, whether you're there or not. That's still going to happen. So taking a moral stand and saving one person's job, but losing my own is not as simple. It's not that simple.
Who said it was, Kenneth?
Oh, I know.
Who used the word simple?
You know,
I said
well, you
it's a
said
moral issue.
yeah, it is. It's not a moral issue. It's a moral dilemma. It's a dilemma.
Okay.
That's just moral. Yeah. Because and
Absolutely,
really,
and
truly, I shouldn't say. I wouldn't even say it's a moral thing. I wouldn't even say it's a moral problem because it's not morality. Because it's not you. It's more of it's just a straight dilemma. It's a damned if you do and damned if you don't type situation. That's what it is, a rock and a hard place. That's exactly what it is.
Bad.
And you know, and Harriet, to address what you're saying, uh, um, getting my family prepared. Whether you get your family prepared or not, that doesn't mean it's going to be hard, that it's something that you can take lightly. You can't be prepared for an economy that's going. And like I said, if you have a specialized job, you're a nuclear engineer. Where the hell a nuclear engineer is going to find another job? Let's be real. Because it's, and I don't know if, no, okay, you're not frozen. I was going to say, Leonard, you look frozen. But if you're a nuclear engineer, other than working for the government, the United States government, where in the United States you're going to find another job working as a nuclear engineer? And it's placed, and you're in your, let's say you're 45, 50 years old. Now, you could join the Navy, but at 45, you're too old. I think the latest you can join the military is, I think, 35, I think, or something like that. So you're 45 years old, 50 years old. Where you going to get it? You can't go into the military. So how you going to work as a nuclear engineer? And plus, you work for, let's say, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission as a nuclear engineer. Only people going to hire is the government. Guess what? Government has a hiring freeze on. These are the type of things that we're dealing with that unfortunately, people are dealing with on a daily basis, and they're getting caught up. And it's like, what do they do? And I know from somebody who's been there and lost their job with a family, that shit is depressing as hell. That is depressing as hell. Trying to figure out how you going to pay a mortgage, how you going to feed your family, going to get public assistance. You're like, God damn, I didn't even get public assistance when I was growing up. Now I'm getting it. True, you might not be a nuclear engineer, but that's all you know, Harriet. You have a degree in nuclear engineering. And engineering, that's your specialty. That's all you know. What are you going to do?
Just because it's all you know doesn't mean it's, but that doesn't mean it's all you could do, Kenneth. Just because
I
if
didn't
you're
say that's
asking
all.
me
I
to be
didn't
a
say that's
nuclear
all you
engineer,
could
I've done
do.
one for 20 years and it's supporting my family. Let me finish. You're a nuclear engineer and you've been a nuclear engineer for 20 years. And all of a sudden your job, you realize that your job, they're using your skill set to kill people. And you have to make a dilemma, a moral dilemma about whether, and that's an extreme. It's not that extreme as we think it is. That I'm not going to use my skill set to kill people, and it may mean that you can no longer be a nuclear engineer. That's a simple choice. For me,
But
may
see,
not be for you
okay,
or everybody else.
but Leonard,
Go ahead.
that's a moral, that's a moral dilemma.
Let me finish. You're gonna have to at some point be. And yes, I agree with you. All those things, the humiliation of having to go get another job, a humiliation of having to work for $9 an hour, the humiliation of any of those things that might knock you off the perch that you were on, is absolutely real. And then you still have to say, but is it worse than that? If I am a ICE agent, because it's what we were talking about, and at some point I'm politically astute. I read. Maybe you're one of those people that just doesn't read. You just, hey man, I'm just here to do a job no matter what happens. If they tell me to go and put people out, fine. They tell me to walk up and obviously break constitutional norms, which is walk up to people in Los Angeles, just pick them up off the street because they look Hispanic. And I know that's wrong, but I'm still getting paid $100,000. And they'll sort it out. I'm not fucking with you. I'm just not everybody else can. It could be a moral dilemma for them. And it could be, it's almost like some cops. There's some cops that just are going to do their job and do a good job based on the rule of law. They're going to go and they're going to read Miranda rights and they're going to go and do all the things they're supposed to do. And you can't blame them. And they're going to say, under no circumstances, no matter how bad this situation is, I'm still going to read this person. They still have constitutional rights, and they're heinous people.
What if you're not one of the ones doing that, though? What if you're doing everything by the book?
That's what I'm talking about, though.
Your team.
Wait. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those guys. They always do the right thing, and when somebody tells them not to do the right thing, they say to themselves, that you ain't for me, bro. You can't be my partner. I'm not going to do the wrong thing because you're willing to skirt the line. Because once you start skirting that line goes further and further out. And there's some police officer force that always trying to do the good thing. They catch hell for it. They catch hell for it. They catch hell for the blue line. They catch hell for it. But their moral compass says, I don't have to be a police officer. Their moral compass might also say, but if I leave here, there are no good police officers. And that's the moral dilemma to me. But to some, I personally think that the $45 billion they're about to give ICE is so they can officially hire people. I don't think half the people that's been on the streets have been ICE agents.
They have. I can guarantee that. That's why they have masks on.
Right. There's some deputized assholes with guns who should never have guns ever. And the only thing that's been their saving grace, the only saving grace they had, is that the public and the people they're picking up haven't turned their guns on those people. That's it. Nope, that's their only saving grace. Their only saving grace is like that senator who got pulled down. Their only saving grace is he didn't have somebody to come and whoop them guys' asses. That's it. And the only thing that was going to stop them is and now it's going to be harder with the $45 billion. And y'all can say what y'all want to say about, man, you shouldn't say stuff like that. Nobody has the right to do that on a mass level. And nobody should be willing to do that. And when you have enough people willing to do that and enough people willing to turn the blind eye, this is what you get. You get enough people, but when they went to that Haitian community, it was a problem.
Oh, it was a serious problem.
It was a problem.
They won't even go. Well, you know something, I say this. They won't even go into any of the Caribbean neighborhoods in New York, especially Brooklyn. They won't go there at all. They won't bother them at all. They walking around, like it's nothing, like nothing's going on. They may try to catch somebody, like if they're in Manhattan, trying to, people selling quote unquote counterfeit goods on the street. NYPD, they have a unit that does that. I forgot what the unit is called, but they pick people up, stuff like that. But in terms of ICE coming into, uh, uh, you know, deep in the heart of Brooklyn and trying to arrest undocumented people, they are not doing that. They are not going to do that at all. They found out the one time they tried what happened, and they haven't been back since. And they won't. They won't go back because it's too much. They are severely outnumbered, and
I want to say,
and they. What are you saying? What were you gonna say?
I want to say the last thing I want to say is I'm gonna say it. Can you hear me? My mic keeps going in and out. It is extremely hard to live your principles. We all know that. It's extremely hard to stand on what your values are. And it's extremely hard to live your values in a world where people can be wishy-washy about their values. And I'm not talking about the extreme. I'm just saying that when you know what's right and what's wrong, and people right now are so quick to turn a blind eye because it doesn't affect them. And as long as it doesn't affect them, they don't want to get involved. And the truth of the matter is that's what.
Before you finish, just one thing. I'm gonna say this. That is not anything new in American life. That is not new. They've always done that.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm
Because
just.
it didn't
I'm just.
affect them personally.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that you're coming up to it. It seems to be that you're coming up to a precipice. That if folks don't start looking at it as how it only affects them, because that's this myth of the American male, blah blah blah. That people do it on their own, and none of these people have done it on their own. Not a one. It's not one person out there that didn't get some type of public assistance and becoming the billionaire that they are. Not a one. Particularly the internet billionaires, because the internet was none of their creations. None of the guys making billions off the internet created the internet. None of them. Not a one. And without the creation of the internet by those professors from Stanford, and they used to call it intranet, when it was being used as a tool just for researchers to be able to communicate with each other, who created it, that's public assistance paid for by American tax dollars. And standing on your principles to say, you sit there, you watch a laborer. It's the George Floyd principle all over again. People were hesitant to walk over to a police officer and say, fuck it, man. You can't just slaughter the man in the street, no matter what uniform you wear. You can't just have your knee on that guy's neck and he's screaming, I can't breathe. And the more you let anybody of any law enforcement or government do that, which is what they did in every heinous situation in history, from the World War II and concentration camps to now, when you don't stand up for somebody else when something's being done wrong, eventually, maybe not in your lifetime, it's going to touch your family somewhere down the road because you didn't stand up and say, don't do that. So, and it's not easy. We both know it's not easy. All the stuff you said earlier was valid. It's very, very valid. Man, what if you got to do this? What if you lose your job? You got to go to $9 an hour job. All that stuff is extremely valid. All that stuff is extremely true. I don't disagree with any of that. That's what makes them hard choices. And everybody ain't built for hard choices. But now you got a bunch of people up in the White House right now who don't give a damn about hard choices. It's all about power. It's all about making you do it. It's all about forcing you to do it. If you don't do it, it's all about breaking your neck or beating you to death or damn near to death until you comply. And until enough people turn on them, we are where we are. But I gotta go, man. You could continue the show. I got something I gotta do. I apologize.
I gotta go to
I
sleep.
don't know what was going on with my computer this morning, but both of them were shutting down. So
I was out hanging out last night about the hotel room. The toilet kept running all night long, so I got no sleep. So I'm getting ready to go lay back across this bed that I'm paying for and take me a nap because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But listen, y'all. It did, this was a short discussion. Well, it was still about an hour. So that's still about an hour. Good seeing y'all. I'll be back at the Lively Estate next weekend. No, yeah, somewhere. I'll be somewhere next weekend. I'll be home tomorrow or sometime. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, send out condolences to the Noble family. Daryl Noble graduated with me, class 84 from Moulin Hills. Of course, unfortunately, he passed away. I think it was yesterday, either yesterday or the day before. So, send out condolences to the family. It's crazy, man. It's a lot of us out here that's not that we're losing, and I guess we're at that age now. So, condolences to the family. Y'all, please take care of yourself. Be safe out there, and we'll see y'all next week. Deuces.
peace, everybody. Talk to you later.